Sorry, I got cut off. A telemarketer called me, and and it's funny whenever I'm doing a good video or I'm getting going, my phone rings every time. It's hilarious. No, it's not. But anyways, I know where I left off. I was talking about me being an Uncle Tom in the past, and 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 it's not anything overt, to where I was just backstabbing my own, you know, my own people, my own brothers and sisters. It wasn't like that. But it was more of a very subtle. But okay, this is what I'm saying. During this time of a lot of hard, uncomfortable things that we're dealing with. One of my friends was talking about, don't fan the flames of racism, and I'm totally down. I'm totally with that. But I'm also acknowledging the fact that I'm not sure if we need to if we have to fan it. It's there. There are places that are burning down because of what's been going on, and the question isn't to me isn't whether we fan the flames. It's, are we actively becoming water to put it out? You know, because part of the problem on my part, because I didn't want to rock the boat. I didn't want to have deep discussions that may be uncomfortable with my white friends about the things that I've gone through. A lot of them, when I did that last video about the fear that I've grown up with, I had practiced self deception so much that I had minimized so many of those experiences to the point where I didn't share it with my close. And I've got close friends that are not my skin color that would take a bullet for me. I mean, one of my very good friends, that reached out, had lent me like $1,000 when I was in dire need, and didn't even blink when she did that. And I'm telling you, that, so I know that there's love with my friends and I, but I was still uncomfortable to share things that I'd gone through because I did I didn't want them to be uncomfortable. I didn't want to take the chance of them rejecting me. I didn't want to take the chance of exposing subconscious ideas that we would have to take a look at that aren't necessarily compassionate towards minorities. That was the most politically way for me to saying that we are sometimes subconsciously racist. I mean, I'm talking about black and white, okay? And Asian and his whatever. We all have some subconscious mannerisms that we grew up with. I don't believe there's anybody out there that doesn't have some some things that are we all have some dysfunctional views, and I'm not saying we're overtly racist, like we're out there, throwing up, burning crosses or whatnot. But there are some issues that we've grown up with simply because we haven't had deep discussions to really share our own experiences. Just like I can understand intellectually what women go through in the workforce, but I don't understand deep in my heart what they go through because I haven't sat down and shared and broke bread with them because it's uncomfortable. And here we are. Are we going to continue to try to distract ourselves, or are we going to act and start finding ways to heal? My one friend was saying, well, what should we do? I've had a few of my friends call me and say, Will, are we all right? Are we still good? And I'm like, yes, we are. And then the next question, what do you think we should do? And that's what I'm talking about. is us actually doing something. Why are we putting the fate of our country in the hands of the angry? We're just watching the world burn, and we're still trying to find ways to put our head back in the sand when it is our responsibility. And I put it in my last video. Are we going to be gasoline or water? But I also should have said, if we're neither, we are still guilty of watching everything go in flames. I remember my friend Heidi. She owns Flexwell, which is a phenomenal gym. Love that gym. And I remember we started a support group around obesity, and it started when I started working with Leslie Belmar. And you guys, have heard my past videos and dealing with that. But she really helped me lose 100 pounds, because I used to be way, way, way bigger. But the difficult part was that she addressed my dysfunctional emotional connection with food, and it got tense. It got tense. I mean, there were times I couldn't stand that woman, and part of it was cultural. I mean, I was raised on fried everything, you know, but just because it's how I was raised doesn't mean that's how I'm going to grow. That might have been the initial education, but I'm responsible for learning new math. So out of that process, Heidi, wanted to start a group for people that were struggling with weight loss, and it was a phenomenal group because we really got to talk about the fears and of being fat and the fears of getting healthy, and we really got to go there, and it was uncomfortable for me to share a lot of things about my fatness. you know it, but as we started doing it, it got more comfortable to talk about how excited I was when I stopped having to put powder between my thighs because I would get rashes from my legs rubbing together. That was embarrassing to acknowledge and admit and take it into a group and share. But so many people appreciated that and wanted to talk about it. And I gotta believe, well, I know from experience that my look, I don't know about y'all, but my friends are tight, they're solid, and they have an incredible heart. And although it may be uncomfortable to talk about racial issues, they are not afraid. And I'm just encouraging us to start these groups, these conversations. And look, I know we all want to go global and have this big platform and go talk to the president and da 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 da. But hey, why don't we start with our neighbor? I'm talking to myself. I need to, because I already, I told my neighbors, that look, if there's anything you need, just let me know. And that was back with the toilet paper crisis, and they just came over and introduced the lady came over and introduced herself to my wife, and she said, "Oh, we've been neighbors for 4 years, and I never told you my name because we just say hi, neighbor." And she said, "My name is Tina." And that was an example for me. Like I need to reach out again, because we say hi all the time and just say, "Hey, yo, I just want to let y'all know I'm still cool with you." And if you still need anything, all you got to do is just ask, and I'm going to give you my phone number today. So you can call me, you know. I have no hatred for you because of the color of your skin. And if you have any questions you want to talk to me about, feel free. I'm straight. We're good. And I think we need to start there of stepping out of our comfort zone and approaching our neighbor. our brother and sister from another mother and building that bridge. Not a superficial bridge that won't take any weight, because that's what's happening now. We've got a lot of superficial stuff that's collapsing. Like I was telling my one friend Kim about the cultural diversity training that we've all gone through as counselors and therapists. It was all of like maybe 2 hours. That is, I don't even think that's a band-aid for what's really, but for the pain that is really within our society. But before we can do a training, we need to talk to our neighbor. We need to talk to the people in our church that we see every day that are not my skin color and just check ourselves. And yes, that will be uncomfortable because we're used to being a very self absorbed society. If it doesn't directly affect us, we don't want to deal with it. If there's a chance of rejection or me being in a different environment, I'd rather go home and watch Netflix. And I guess that's why I titled it, Do We Have Enough Compassion to Not Fall Back into Distraction? Do we have enough love in our heart to be courageous enough to act in love? How many of us have talked to our pastor about having real discussion groups with the community about what's going on, about racial tension, about loving our neighbor? I mean, I do believe that's one of that. I think isn't that the first commandment? Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Da 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 da. What could God have possibly been talking about? And it's one thing to talk about it and read about it in scripture, and it's a whole nother thing to act on it and do something. Be the water, be the living water. That is the only way things are going to change. And look, and let me be straight, okay? There is nowhere in Revelations for my Christian people that says we need to sit on our butt and do nothing, okay? Yes, there's a lot of things in Revelations that says these times will come. These are the times of sorrows or the beginning of sorrows. I get that. But it doesn't say anywhere in there that we're supposed to sit down and do nothing. It doesn't say anywhere in there during Revelations you need to stop loving your neighbor. It doesn't say that. So I'm checking y'all too, just as I check myself. It's time to stop. It's time to stop ignoring the problem. It's time to start acting. And we are all guilty of allowing this nonsense to continue. We're all guilty of allowing. We're watching the world burn, and we're watching the riots happen. And you got to ask yourself the question: what are you doing? Because I'm tired of just being a witness. Okay. So you guys know I love you. You guys know I love you guys, right? Okay. And I'm gonna put it out there again. Any church that wants me to come speak and talk and have honest conversations, please reach out to me. I am available and I am willing. And we need to start. Okay. So I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.